everybody. Welcome to another episode of NerdyOver30, the podcast where we talk about movies, games, and everything pop culture. As always, I'm Jonathan, aka Worm, and here with me are David and T-Bud. How's it going, guys?
Going on?
What's up, guys?
And today's guest is Matt, aka RETROWOLF. You may know him from YouTube. How's it going, Matt?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Good. Yeah, man. Can't complain. Getting home from work, but can't complain.
Yes, sir.
So for those who don't know who you are, you want to give a little brief summary of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure, man. So as he said, my name's Matt. YouTube channel is RETROWOLF88. I've been doing YouTube for about 2.5 years now. We're at a little over 2,600 subscribers. I about said 26,000. I wish it was 26,000. So, it's still a small channel, still a really small channel, comparatively to other YouTubers out there. But yeah, we do a lot of content, a lot of retro gaming content, some modern gaming content. I cover a lot on the GameCube because I have a complete North American GameCube collection. Love the GameCube. So a lot of my videos are going to be geared towards the GameCube, but I do mix in some Switch videos here and there, some, Wii videos on other consoles, modern consoles, pickups videos. And every now and then I might throw something just completely out of left field at you that you never see Compton, that you never see. Apparently I can't talk tonight. Recently I did a fake intervention video and it was just absolutely just insane, but it was a lot of fun. So I like to throw some comedy in from time to time and just some insane videos that hopefully make you laugh. But if not, that's okay too.
No, man, and it's great that you switch it up every now and throw a little curveball in there and give some people some other things to watch and keep people interested. Also, you have amazing production on your video.
Thanks,
I don't know how much time you put into it, but you have amazing production on your video.
A lot of time.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to do.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's good stuff and very creative. You could see it.
So, what made you? Let's start with. How long have you been gaming?
Oh man, shit. I've been gaming since I could hold a controller, man. So 2 years old. So yeah, I've been gaming all of my life. I'm 32, fixing to turn 33. So yeah, I've been gaming for 30 years now. Dang, that's kind of crazy to think.
Right? When you say it out loud, it's like,
yeah, exactly how we feel whenever we say that.
NerdyOver30.
Yeah.
And what was the first game you played?
The first game that I ever played was Ninja Gaiden on the NES. I remember my brothers had it and they set me down to play it. And the funny thing is I remember being really good at it, which is impossible because I was 2 years old, like 2 or 3 years old.
I was gonna say, that was a difficult game to
start. Yeah, it's really difficult. So I'm pretty sure what happened was I'm pretty sure they used a game genie and made it to where I was invincible. I'm pretty sure that's why I was playing the game and actually, making it through the first level or so. So, that was pretty cool of them because I was a kid. There's no way I could have even made it past the first level at that age, but I have a vague memory of that. But that is the first game that I ever remember playing.
I was going to say, damn, did I suck or something? This kid's at 2, beating the game.
And for all those young kids out there who don't know what a game genie is.
Yeah, right.
So what got you in? Oh. So yes, this always happens. Me and David will always talk over each other. So
yeah.
Go ahead, David.
No, I was just gonna say it's basically like a Game Shark.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a thing of the past too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, for the new gen that doesn't know what a Game Shark is, it's hacks. All right.
Yeah. Well, now it's called YouTube.
Yeah.
It's called YouTube now. So
yeah, pretty much.
So what got you into collecting? Were you always like, as a kid, just, because most collectors, when you started young, you were like kept really good care of your toys. Sometimes you didn't take anything out. So was it from a young age or did you start as you're older?
So yeah, man, when I was a kid, I had a lot of consoles. I was fortunate to have, pretty much any console I wanted. We weren't rich or anything, but my mom, she was pretty good to me when it came to that sort of thing. So, I had my brothers had an NES, they had a Super Nintendo. Then after that, I got a Sega Genesis. That was really my first console that I owned was a Sega Genesis. And then I got a Nintendo 64. and then a GameCube. And then later when I started making my own money, I bought a PS2, so on and so forth. So when I was younger, I did have sort of a small collection of games. When I was at my peak with my GameCube, I had around 90 games in my GameCube collection back in those days. And that was during that era, that generation. And like a lot of us do, I was a dumbass and I got rid of everything. Dude, I don't have a single game or console that I had when I was a kid, and that sucks. I really wish I did, but it is what it is. You can't dwell on the past. So, you know, so what got me into collecting, this was back in 2016. Yeah, this was 2016, like mid 2016 or so. I texted my nephew, and by the way, shout out to my nephew. He is my silent partner in the YouTube channel. He does pretty much all the editing. Me and him work together on a lot of the videos. So shout out to my nephew. Awesome dude. And I could not do this channel without him. But anyway, so I sent a text to my nephew and I was like, dude, I kind of want to get a GameCube and get some of the games that I had when I was a kid. You know, I kind of want to, I miss those games. I want to relive those memories. And he was like, well, hey, man, I've got a GameCube. I'll give it to you. So I drove over to his house. He gave me a GameCube and a controller. I don't think there were any games, but he gave me a GameCube and a controller. And then I went to a retro game store that's about 20 minutes away from me that I had never gone to before, in a very small, like rural, just middle of nowhere town. It's kind of a weird place for like one of the best retro game stores I've ever been to. So I go in this retro game store and I pretty much buy every GameCube game he had that I had when I was a kid. So I walked out of there with like 10, 15 GameCube games, and his prices were awesome. This was before GameCube prices started skyrocketing. So I was able to get, you know, those 10 to 15 games relatively cheap. And next thing I know, I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to get the NES games I had as a kid. And it just, dude, it just kept snowballing from there. Next thing you know, I'm in debt. I'm addicted. My wife's pissed at me. And yeah, dude. So, and then
I was about to say smooth sailing from there, but it wasn't smooth.
So, yeah, that's how it happens.
Unfortunately. And it's crazy how, I know you mentioned GameCube being one of your, you know, your favorite go-tos. It's crazy how GameCube, it was popular, and then it became that underrated system, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted a GameCube, and hard to find, and then people were looking for, I remember there was a point where people were looking for like a tube TVs, so that there's no lag or anything like that, and it became like crazy.
Yeah.
And it was after like it came out though, right? Like it wasn't even popular at first. Like it was after 2 years, it like started to like skyrocket, right?
Yeah, the GameCube did not sell very well. It sold,
I remember that.
sold like 13 million copies. So yeah, it wasn't a failure, but it wasn't a success.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
Well, me and David were the faithful ones online that first day to get our Nintendo GameCubes.
Matt, I'm sure you've remember the times where you would have to pull an all-nighter for a console.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Those were the good old days, back when you didn't have to try and win a raffle or deal with bots and stuff like that. You just waited all night at Toys R Us, and
yep,
that was it, man. Yeah, I remember.
I miss those days, man.
Yeah.
I got what was it? What games did I get with that? I got Luigi's Mansion and Wave Race. I think were my first two games.
Two good games.
My games too.
Very nice.
Wave Racer was really good. Now that I think about it, I forgot all about that.
I forgot about that game, man, until we mentioned it now. They should make another one of those.
Yeah. Luigi's Mansion was my first game on the GameCube as well. And funny story, it was also the last game I needed to buy to complete my GameCube collection. Now, you might be asking yourself, why Luigi's Mansion? Why wouldn't you already have that?
Yeah.
Well, as I got close to completing my collection, I did have a copy of Luigi's Mansion, complete in box copy. As I got closer to completing my collection, I couldn't find it. It was gone. It just disappeared. I don't know if somebody stole it or what, but it was gone. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to buy it again anytime soon. I'll wait. And I ended up waiting until it was the last game that I needed. So Luigi's Mansion was my final game that I grabbed for the collection.
Maybe that game was haunted.
Hey, dude, who knows? Who knows? Or maybe if I ever move again, I'll find it behind a shelf or something somewhere.
So when you were completing your collection, did you complete your collection before the prices started to skyrocket as of recent?
Yes. Yeah, I did. I mean, the prices were going up, but they had not yet skyrocketed because I completed my collection before the pandemic happened. So it was like was like early 2019, like the first quarter of 2019 when I completed my collection, and the prices didn't really start skyrocketing big time until COVID. You know, pretty much all games started going up in price then, but the prices for GameCube stuff was definitely steadily going up. But I completed it before it just got out of hand, thankfully.
Yeah.
How much games is in the collection? Like a complete collection? How much games is it?
So there were 552 retail releases.
Oh,
But there's a few extras that some people consider part of a complete set, but they weren't retail releases. They were like pre-order bonuses, or there was one that only came with a console, and you couldn't actually go buy the game off the store shelves. You had to get the console bundle that it came with. So yeah, but there were 552 in the United States that hit store shelves.
that's crazy. That's awesome.
That's great. So, I mean, so I want your opinion on this. What do you think set off the GameCube trend, where everybody all of a sudden started caring about the GameCube? What was there a certain game, a certain thing that happened that was advertised? What do you think brought the uprising for GameCube again?
I think what it really all boils down to is a lot of people that are around our age that grew up with the GameCube or grew up with a PS2 or grew up with an OG Xbox. They got to that age where they were like, you know what, I want to really start reliving some of my childhood. I want to get some of these consoles. And you have one of two camps. You either have the camp of people that had the GameCube whenever they were younger and they want to get it and they want to get back into it and play some of those games like I was, or you have the other camp of people who they didn't have a GameCube. They had a PS2 or an Xbox or both, but they never got to experience the GameCube. So they're like, okay, you know what, I'll check this out. And then they're like, holy shit, the GameCube is awesome. There's a lot of awesome games for this console. And then they fell in love with it. So that's my theory. Obviously, I have no way to prove that, but I think that's usually what happens with retro games is people get to that age where they grew up with the console and they want to get back into it.
Yeah, it's I think sometimes it's hard for us to swallow, but I'm like still like I don't feel that I'm at that age yet. But yeah, we're at that age now where our systems are the retro systems, and people, and we want to go back.
We're in the back in our days.
Yeah.
Like now we are saying that and we're not realizing it.
Yeah, because we play Smash, so I remember when you can buy a GameCube controller for a fairly decent price, and now to get a GameCube controller is like $50, $60 for a good.
It just shows you can never count out Nintendo.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Worm just mentioned Smash Bros. So reason I had asked that question in particular about GameCube in particular was, for me, I don't, it's obviously different for everyone. For me, I felt like the uprising of GameCube happened with Melee, when Melee became MLG, like became competitive. I felt like Melee was what kind of boosted. It didn't like hold it, but it boosted it significantly.
Oh yeah. Smash Bros. Melee definitely was a huge contributing factor because it was the top selling GameCube game. It sold like 7 million copies or something, which back in those days, that was a lot. And the crazy thing about Melee is it's still to this day a lot of people's favorite Smash Bros. Game, and the competitive community still to this day plays Melee a lot, and people that get into Smash Bros end up getting a GameCube so that they can get Melee and play Melee. So yeah, that makes sense, man. I would say Melee definitely back in the day when the GameCube was out and even today contributes to the popularity for sure.
Now, I was just watching your top 10 GameCube games. Smash Melee was in there, but I was quite shocked to see that Luigi's Mansion wasn't in there. Because everybody loves that game. I'm curious to why you didn't put Luigi's Mansion in your top 10.
Luigi's Mansion would have been number 11 if I had gone to 11. Yeah, no,
honorable mention.
yeah. I mean, like, I could only pick 10. You know what I'm saying? And those Luigi's Mansion was just right under that list, just right under it. But it was close. But I should have done top 11 so that I could include Luigi's Mansion. I kind of feel bad for leaving it out now because it was the game that got me into the GameCube. It was my first GameCube game, so I kind of feel bad. Thanks for making me feel guilty, man.
Because I clicked on the video, I'm like, oh, Luigi's Mansion and Smash definitely going to be in this. And
Now
then
I got
the whole list, and I was like,
You know what I found interesting about your top 10? Resident Evil 4 was your favorite Resident Evil.
Oh, 100%.
I was
100%.
like, wow, this is that's not a common response I get for Resident Evil.
Oh, dude, really? I hear like most people I talk to, that's their favorite Resident Evil
Really?
game of all time. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's over here in the Bronx, and it's a different story.
I guess so, man. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, and in all fairness, I haven't played the Resident Evil 2 remake. I haven't played the Resident Evil 3 remake. I haven't played Resident Evil 8. I have played Resident Evil 7, but I didn't beat it. So I haven't. There's a lot of Resident Evil games that I've yet to experience, so that could change.
Okay,
You know, but at this time, Resident Evil 4, dude, it's one of my favorite games of all time.
that's fair, man. That's fair. You didn't play 2, so
Yeah, yeah. One day I will. One day I will. I don't have it yet, but one day I'll definitely play it. It's gonna scare the shit out of me, though. I already know.
Oh, this guy over here. This guy is the worst to play scary games. David over here, he'll jump out of his seat if he's by himself.
dude, like I have a terrible. I can't go into haunted houses. Like I have like a fighter reflex. Like I want to hit you if
Yeah.
you scared me. So imagine if a game scares me.
Hmm.
I don't want to break my TV, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. I feel
TVs are
it.
expensive, man.
So one of the things I enjoy, I mean, most people enjoy because they always get a lot of views on YouTube, is when people do game room tours.
Hmm.
Love that. But what you do that I love is you go to other people's collections and you do game room tours of theirs. How'd that come about? Like, when did you say, hey, I'm going to start traveling to other YouTubers and people I know's houses and showing their collection?
Yeah, so this was relatively early in the YouTube channel when I started doing this. This was back, when I first started in 2019. And actually, you know what? I was mistaken on something I said earlier. I completed the GameCube collection in early 2020, not 2019. So
Okay.
correct that. I think. Well, now I'm questioning myself.
I just think that we all erased 2020, so everybody just
Yeah. And you know what? No, it was 2019. All right, let me just get back on track. So yeah, so this was the first year of the YouTube channel that I started doing game room tours. I don't know, it was just an idea I had, man. I was like, you know what? There's a lot of collectors out here that have these amazing game rooms. They don't have YouTube channels. A lot of them are on Instagram and they show their game rooms off on Instagram and stuff like that. But I was like, man, I bet a lot of these guys would like to have their game rooms filmed and shown to the world on the internet. So I reached out to a few people and they said, yeah. And I was like, cool. So I did it. And I don't know how many game room tours I've done to this date. I would have to open up the playlist and count them, but I've done quite a few and I've got several in the works for the future. I've got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got like 7 in the works. And one of them is one of the biggest game collections in the world. So I'm very, very excited to do a video on that. But yeah, man, I love meeting people, which is weird because I'm an introvert. So it's weird that I love meeting people. I love meeting people. I love getting to know people in the community. And, I love going and seeing their collections, seeing their game rooms and filming it. And every game room tour I try to make better than the last one. So I try to increase the production values in each game room tour and get better and better and better. And it's a lot of work, dude. The last game room tour I shot was Jared's game room, and it probably took about 4 or 5 hours just to do all the production, all the filming and stuff. And we filmed an interview the same day. So it's a lot of work, dude. It's exhausting. Every time I do a game room tour, at the end of the day, I am just beat, dude. I am beat. But I enjoy it. And I hope people that watch enjoy it too. I think they do. I mean, they typically get a lot of likes and views and stuff, which is great. So the funny thing is, every time I post a game room, they usually always get a couple of dislikes right off the bat. I don't know if it's people that are just like jealous of someone else's collection, or I don't know what that's all about, but
There's always that troll.
yeah.
Like for us, we have, and we're not a big group, but I was just telling T-Bud about this the other day. We have this one guy, just one person, that decides to go out of his way to dislike every single post that we post.
That's so weird to me, man.
Haters gonna hate.
I can't wrap my brain around it. I've never done that. Like if even on YouTube, dude, if I'm watching a YouTube video and I don't like it, I don't hit the dislike button. I just click
Yeah,
off.
I would never do that. Yeah, because you never know. It could discourage. Some people might get discouraged, but
Yeah.
if you don't like it, you don't like it. But those are also the same people that'll do a Yelp review for restaurants.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know. They get off on it, I guess.
But yeah, man. Well, first off, shout out to Jarrett and Eric from
Oh yeah.
Pandemic. Those guys,
Uh,
awesome. They were great guests on our show. You also did an amazing interview.
Thanks, man.
And but yeah, he has a crazy game room, Jarrett. Yeah, because I'm watching. Yeah, I was watching game room tours. I'm like, man, this is like almost an hour. I'm sure there's way more filming than that.
Oh yeah.
And yes, to cut that all down, all that stuff, do all the extra. Yeah, man, I give it to you, man. That's definitely a lot of work. And do you drive or do you take a plane? Like, how are you traveling to some of these places?
Before you answer that, just so our audience knows, where do you reside? Where are you from?
Oh yeah. I live near Chattanooga, Tennessee. Not in Chattanooga, but near Chattanooga, Tennessee.
So you had to go a couple states to go to Ohio to Jared and Eric. So.
Yeah. It was like a 7-hour drive. So generally, so generally
7 hours.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, that feels like nothing for me, because I'm used to driving all the time because I live in the middle of nowhere, so I've got to drive a long time just to get anywhere. But yeah, no, I try to find game rooms that are within driving distance, and if it's somewhere that's like more than 5 hours, I'm probably just going to stay in town for a day or two. So that's what I did, for Columbus, where they live. I went to Columbus. I stayed in town for the weekend, filmed their game room tour, filmed the interview, and then we just hung out. We went to a barcade. We, ate some good food, and it was a great time, man. So I try to, if I can, I try to make a few days out of it if it's a far distance, so that I can have an opportunity to hang out with the people and have plenty of time to get all the filming done. But with that being said, if I ever get to the point where I'm actually making money off the YouTube channel, I mean, I'm making a little bit of money. It's like $20 a month or something, which is cool. Hey, a little bit of extra money. That's cool.
Why not?
But if I ever get to the point to where I'm making decent money off the YouTube channel, then I might actually start flying to places that are further away to do game room tours, or make a road trip out of it, because I love going on road trips and stuff. But right now I try to stick within driving distance.
That would actually be a great video to like film a road trip kind of vlog idea and hit up a couple game rooms. That'd be cool.
For sure, man.
But yeah, sorry, David. I think you're on the right track, because every time you're trying to up your production and stuff like that. So bro, I think you're definitely gonna get there. No doubt.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
What's the furthest you've traveled so far, and what's the place that you would travel that you're dying to travel to?
So
New York.
Well, let me clarify the question. Are you asking me just in general, where's the furthest I've traveled, or for a game room? For a game room, something game room related. So for a game room, I would say Columbus, Ohio is the furthest that I've traveled for a game room. In 2019, I went to Dayton, Ohio, and I filmed 2 game room tours, but that was like 5 to 6 hours as opposed to 7 to Columbus. Now I have traveled to Dallas, Texas for the YouTube channel, but that wasn't for a game room tour. That was for something else. And the furthest I've actually driven non-gaming related would be to Colorado. That was like a 3-day drive. It didn't have to be a 3-day drive, but we split it in 3 days.
Yeah. Just hung on.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, hopefully we have time like that at some point to start doing stuff like that. We barely have time now to get together to film a video as it is. It's hard, man. It's hard.
Hey, dude, I get it. I get it. Trust me.
I totally give it to you, man. So to do all that is a lot, man.
So let's get to know you as a person. What do you do aside from gaming on your free time? What are your hobbies? What do you do for, keep a roof over your head,
Yeah. So I am a business analyst. I work for an insurance company, work with data and create reports and analyze data and all that good stuff to help the company make better business decisions. It's a cool job. I like it. the company treats me good. I make good money. I can't complain. But at the same time, it's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. Of course, I'm working on an exit strategy for the future. But other than working, I play guitar. I've been playing guitar since I was 16. Now, I will admit I am out of practice. I haven't played much in the last several years, but I still pull it out and play every now and then. That did not sound right, but you know what I'm trying to say.
What she said.
Yeah. But yeah, I like doing stuff outdoors, so I like to go hiking and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now, YouTube and gaming take up pretty much all my free time. But I also am heavily into filmmaking and videography as well.
Nice.
So I'm trying to work on a short film. So I'm working on a short film right now, which will be my first short film. So we'll see how that goes. Because ultimately, one of my goals and dreams, as most people say, is to be a filmmaker. I want to make some movies, maybe a TV show, something like that. So I'm trying to dip my toes into that. Shout out to Billy from the Game Chasers for being my inspiration for that road that I'm going down now. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
That's awesome.
Can you say what your short film's about, or say anything about it?
Or like the genre? What genre are you looking to dive into?
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be like comedy drama, probably a little heavier on the comedy with a little bit of drama thrown in, but it's basically going to be about a guy that goes to visit a flea market for the first time. He's never been to a flea market before in his life, or swap meet, some people call them. And he goes to this flea market and he has 3 or 4 very, very weird and strange interactions with vendors at the flea market, as he's trying to obtain his goal in the short film. And each interaction gets crazier and crazier, and there's more and more conflict that builds with each interaction. So in a nutshell, that's what it's about. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than that, but that's kind of the gist of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a pretty cool concept, because when you do go to flea markets, especially, like, I've gone to a lot of flea markets in Connecticut, and you do meet some very strange characters.
But dude, especially in the South, man. Trust me. Oh my God, dude. Especially in the South.
Yeah.
What's your inspiration? Your main inspiration for the short film? Any directors or something?
No, not really in terms of like directors. I mean, obviously there's a lot of directors that I love. But really my main inspiration for the short film is just my own experiences and other people's experiences at flea markets, that I've encountered throughout the years. And also, you know, I want my first short film to be able to appeal to gamers, but I also want it to appeal to non-gamers as well. So I'm trying to write it in such a way that it's going to appeal to both audiences. That way I can release it on my YouTube channel, because there will be some gaming related content in the short film, because the guy our protagonist in the short film is a video game collector. But I still want it to appeal to people that aren't gamers as well. And that's, from a writing standpoint, that can be a little tricky, but I've got it all outlined. I think I'll be able to pull it off.
Nice.
That's awesome. So do you know when you're going to start production, or do you have any idea? Have you casted anybody yet? No,
not yet. It's honestly, I probably won't start production on this until spring of next year, because we're getting close to fall. I mean, it's possible I could do it during the fall. I still have to finish the script, and refine it and revise it. And then obviously there's a lot of planning, and I'm trying to keep it as close to a zero budget as possible, which is going to be tricky. But I got a lot of traveling coming up over the next few months, man. So I just don't see myself being able to film it before winter. So if I can't film it before winter, then I'm going to push the production to spring, which isn't a terrible thing, because that'll give me plenty of time to prepare and get ready for it. So it's probably going to be spring next year whenever I do.
As long as you have like some kind of goal, that's what's important. You know, like as long as you have like a schedule, like a lot of people say they're going to do something and then they don't really have like a structure or a timeline.
Yeah.
You want to do what? And then you end up, you know, being that guy that says, yeah, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Also, you don't want to rush into it either.
No. No, I don't want to rush into it, because number one, you know, I want to make this short film the best I can possibly make it. I want it to excuse me, I want it to feel like an actual film. I want it to feel like a big budget, something that you would see. And I have the equipment to do it. I've got to work on a few skills. I got to work on some things in my skill set before I'm ready to start filming, which I am working on. But yeah, I don't want to rush into it. I want it to be really good. Now, obviously, I know with it being my first short film, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
Things are going to go wrong, but that's okay, because just like with YouTube, you can't let that stuff stop you from starting. You just got to do it. You can't worry about the mistakes. You just got to learn from the mistakes. But yeah, I want it to be the best that it can possibly be. And so I don't mind taking my time to get there. And my goal right now is to have the final version of the script written before the end of the year and have every scene storyboarded before the end of the year.
Good luck.
Thanks, man.
Sure. And just to get an idea of what type of movies you're into, we always ask this, and this is it might be tough for you. Some people have a hard time with this. Top 5 movies.
Man, dude, putting me on the spot, man.
Yeah, don't worry. Think about it. We have some people that completely freeze on this one.
Dude, I'll be honest. I don't know if I can answer that.
All right. So
I mean, I would have to, dude. I'd have to sit here for hours and think about it.
All right. 5 movies that you just really like that just
off the top of your head, things that you're like, yeah, I like that a lot.
Okay, how about this? To make it easier on me and get you guys an answer, let me look at the movies that I've watched in 2021 so far.
There you
and
go.
I'll pick from that list if you guys are good with that, because otherwise we're going to be sitting here for a while. So let's see.
2021 hasn't been that bad.
Yeah, and I've rewatched some movies in 2021 and watched some for the first time. So I'm going to go off I've watched 66 movies in 2021 so far. So I'm just going to I'll pick 5 off of this list that
don't want to hear. We'd love to hear 60 cents, but once our listeners,
it'll be a whole other episode.
yeah, for sure. Let's see. You know what? I really, really, really freaking enjoyed the new Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
That movie
was awesome.
Was so funny. Yeah. Oh my God. I really, really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
I was very happy they got it right the second time.
Yeah.
If they wouldn't have gotten it right at the second time, then I'm sorry. Just give it up.
Yep, for sure.
It just shows James Gunn. He's such an awesome filmmaker.
So yeah.
He knows what. Yeah.
For sure. So another movie that I watched this year that I really, really liked was Nobody with Bob Odenkirk.
Yes.
Yeah, these two raved about it so much.
Yes.
It was such an adrenaline rush.
Yes.
Like, come on, man.
Bob Odenkirk. Who would have thought?
I didn't even expect that. That's the crazy thing. Like, this
Better
is
Call Saul. You better call Saul now.
Like the dude that he got punked around in that series.
Yeah, dude.
Now he's just like, I've had enough.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Bob Odenkirk, man. He's the man. Let's see. Another movie I watched in 2021 that I really, really, really liked. I watched The Wolf of Wall Street for the first time.
Wow.
First time. I'd never seen
awesome,
it.
Man. That's such a good Martin Scorsese film.
That is an amazing film, yes.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, it was entertaining from start to finish. It was just, God, it was so good.
And I think it got the most record for fucks.
Yeah, I probably did, dude. To be honest with you, there was a lot of that flying around.
Fucks given there.
Exactly. Let's see. Another one that I really liked. This will be number 4.
4? Oh, okay.
No, 3. Third one.
Oh no! Wait, 1, 2.
Suicide Squad. Nobody.
Who was on our last episode?
Yeah, 4.
Yep. So number 4, Hell or High Water. Have you guys ever seen Hell or High Water?
I haven't seen that one
yet to watch it, man.
Okay, so Hell or High Water.
Hey, you saw that?
No, I have it. You gave it to me, and I just never watched it yet.
Oh, bad French.
So that movie was written by Taylor Sheridan, who is the writer and director of Yellowstone. I don't know if you guys have watched the show Yellowstone. Fantastic show. He's a very, very talented writer.
He's incredible.
Yeah, but dude, Hell or High Water, freaking fantastic movie. Loved every minute of it. The acting was great. The story was great.
So awesome. If you like Hell or High Water, check out Wind River.
Yeah, that's also Taylor Sheridan too. I haven't seen it.
Awesome. Yeah,
that's on the list. That's on the list. So the last movie that I'll pick here is probably one of the best movies I've seen in the last 10 years.
Ooh,
and I can't believe I haven't seen it
drum roll.
this year, and that is There Will Be Blood, starring
Ooh.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh wow, yeah,
Man, that you've set some heat.
yeah, man. You definitely said some
Awesome.
movies that people usually don't say, which is very nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
See,
like your taste, my friend.
thanks,
Like
man. Thanks, man. Well, you know, because I'm getting into filmmaking, I try not to watch just the big budget Hollywood movies that release.
Oh no, yeah.
I try to
Absolutely.
branch out and watch a lot of stuff, indie movies, movies that don't hit theaters. I mean, if it's you know, if it's something I'm interested in, I'm going to watch it, because I think, and I'm sure you guys know this, too many people these days, all they watch are the movies that come out in theaters. They literally don't watch anything else. Or if it's something that drops on Netflix that catches their attention.
Yeah.
People miss out on a lot of good movies, man.
Oh yeah,
Of course.
there are a lot of good movies. I mean, he is our resident film guy, T-Bud.
Yeah.
I can't talk. T-Bud's our resident film guy. But
Yeah.
he always tells us all the odd movies, and also David watches a lot of movies as well. They always put me on to a lot of things.
Yep, and I mean, T-Bud, for our viewers, listeners, T-Bud's always dropping a review pretty much every week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. He actually did a review for Nobody, so if anybody wants to check that out, you can check that out as well.
Oh no, wait, but that was like when I was still in my reviewing days and typing and shit. Well, I don't think it was a video, right?
Oh,
I don't think it was a video.
Huh.
It was a
video. Oh, yeah. So you can read that on the Instagram. Yeah, at first, before.
Good times.
Yeah.
I grew up in the game.
Yeah, you know, same. We are a new channel, so you know, he had to, you know, he started writing and then he worked his way up to filming.
Talk to us about the beginning. Talk to us about when you first started recording yourself. How was that process, and how were you uncomfortable? How'd you feel at first recording yourself and organizing yourself? Do you have like an outline? Do you have a structure that you go by? What would you tell, you know, somebody starting off recording themselves?
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, dude, when I first started, I was really fucking nervous. I was really uncomfortable on camera. Dude, if you go back and watch, and if you guys, seriously, I encourage you, don't watch the whole video because it's terrible. But if you go back and watch my very first video and compare it to my videos now, it is it's just a night and day difference, dude. Complete 180. But that didn't happen overnight. That was a gradual increase, you know, because when I started the channel, and this is something that I would also, a tip that I would throw out to people that are doing YouTube. And look, I'm no expert. Okay. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. I've only been doing this for 2.5 years. I'm not an expert, but I have learned a lot in 2.5 years. But what I always tell people, two things: if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel and you really want to do it, just do it. Do it. Don't put it off. Don't think about, oh, I need this piece of equipment or this piece of equipment. Most people have a smartphone. That's all you need to get started. I mean, you can literally, I know a guy that he uses his smartphone to do everything. He films, he edits all from his smartphone. And you know, I mean, his quality is not as good as some channels because he's only using his smartphone for everything, but it's still pretty decent what it is. So I always tell people, you know, just do it. Just jump in, do it. Don't be scared. Your videos when you first start out, unless you're a prodigy, your videos when you first start out are not going to be that great. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, but you just got to do it. You can't let all that stuff stop you. But another thing I always tell people is, and this was my mindset when I started YouTube, was every single video that I put out, when I rewatch it, I'm going to watch that video from an unbiased perspective and identify everything that I need to improve in that video, and be completely unbiased to myself. Because my goal with YouTube is to make small improvements with each video, sometimes big improvements, but at least small improvements. Because even if it's just a tiny improvement that you make with each video, those improvements are going to add up over time. And next thing you know, a year later or 2 years later, those little tiny improvements have built up to something big. And then now your videos are something completely different. So that's what I always tell people. Now, when I first started, it was a little chaotic. All my videos were unscripted. I didn't really outline anything. I didn't really make bullet points. I didn't really plan anything. And as a result, my content was a little scatterbrained. So eventually I decided, you know what, there's some videos that I'm just going to have to script because I can't keep my thoughts together from an unscripted perspective. At least when I first started out, I'm going all over the place. I'm saying something 10 minutes into the video that I should have said 2 minutes into the video. All my thoughts are scattered. So I started scripting a lot of my videos, but I tried to do it in such a way to where you can't really tell it's a scripted video, because I'm on camera too. So I try to make it flow really well, and that's enabled me to really kind of make the videos better. Now, there's still some videos that I do unscripted. For example, the top 10 GameCube games video, I decided to do that one unscripted. But I did, and what I did to keep the video from being too long is I set each game I talked about, I set a timer of 1.5 minutes. Once that timer went off, I started wrapping up what I was saying about the game. That way the video wouldn't be too long. Because if I don't do that, I'm going to ramble. I'm going to keep going. And it's going to be, and my nephew's going to hate me because he's going to have to cut out so much. But yeah, these days I script a lot of videos. There's still some videos I don't script. I schedule everything in advance. I try to work as far ahead as possible. Like right now, I am getting close to being 2 months ahead on videos. I've got videos done that are not coming out until October, some even November. So I try to get ahead as much as possible, because at least for me, whenever I work ahead, I feel less stressed. And every now and then I can actually take a moment to take a breather and just sit down and play a game and chill without having to worry about getting something done on YouTube. So anyways, that was a lot, man. I hope that answered your question.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was awesome. Yeah.
Actually, so we're a pretty small channel. We're learning every day as we go along.
I am too.
And that was one of our things too. I remember just us, right, David, us just deciding to start the channel. We just said, we kept talking about it for like a year, until one day we were like, oh, we just got to do it.
Literally during a car ride, this is us going to work because we used to work together, but we just said, you know what, why don't we just do it? Stop talking about it.
Yeah, and then we said to ourselves, yeah, we don't need, like you said, you don't need we bought cheap $20 USB mics, as cheap as you can get, hooked them up the computer, and had no clue what we're doing, and just started filming. And then again, we're still learning. We don't know.
And it's funny,
things we should know still.
It's funny, so you mentioned earlier, Matt, about starting out unscripted and then going with an outline. We completely did the opposite. We started out with an outline.
The first episode we did like outline. It was beautiful.
We did like a legit out of college outline. And then somewhere we've been toying back and forth with outline and not outline. Episode, gotta be honest with our listeners and to you, we just said we're gonna just do it.
So usually, of course, we know who we're going to talk to. We discuss your research. But I think with the podcast, you get a little bit more freedom. To do that. Now, a question for me. This is going to be me trying to learn something here. How do you go about? How did you start scripting? Because that's one thing I can never figure out. We want to start doing other videos too, and I'm like, man, how do I go about making my script? How do I put it together?
Yeah, so it really just depends on the video. So as an example, I have a series on my channel called GameCube Gallery where I review a GameCube game every month. I talk about interesting facts and information about the game, that sort of thing. So for a video like that, I really I break the script up into multiple sections, kind of like what you do with an outline, right? So I'll have my intro. Then I'll have my where I talk about the story of the game. Then I'll have a section where I talk about the graphics and the music and the audio. Then I'll have a section where I talk about the gameplay. And then I'll have a section where I talk about all the interesting facts and information about the game I can dig up. And then I'll have my conclusion or outro. So it really just depends on the video. I find it easier to break the video up into sections on your script. But it's going to be different for everybody. What works for me may not work for you. But one thing that I do is when I'm writing my script, I identify which lines on the script I'm going to perform or say on camera, and I highlight those lines on the script. And that way I know you know, which lines of the script are going to have B-roll behind them or gameplay behind them, and which lines I need to be on camera for. So that saves me a lot of time in production, because I can turn on the camera. I can simply perform the lines that I know are going to be on camera, turn the camera off, leave my microphone on, and then just do the audio only portions that I know are going to have B-roll behind them. I used to do it all on camera, even the lines that I knew were going to be covered up in B-roll, but the video files were like, you know, 20 gigs or something crazy like that. And I was like, you know what? It makes more sense if I just do audio only for the stuff that I know is going to have B-roll behind it or gameplay behind it.
That's awesome.
Actually, a great piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing you're talking about is you listening back to your videos, which everybody should do, because you do.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember when we did our first podcast and we were driving the next day in the car and David put it on and I was like, I don't want to hear it. I can't hear it. And it took me so long to get used to hearing my voice that I had to say to myself, you know, okay, you got to listen to it so we can figure out what I'm saying wrong and this and that. He kept on telling me, bro, you just gotta listen to it. We gotta figure this out.
You gotta know your problems. You know, you gotta understand.
Yeah,
like,
so hard to listen to yourself.
Like you gotta discover if there's dead air moments or if you're repeating certain words. You know, stuttering. You know, you gotta find your thing and work on it.
Yeah. That was so hard for me, and I can't wait till we grow a couple years from now, and we can go back and look at our very first video and cringe. I mean, I cringe already, and we're only on episode 17. So
yeah, and you know, try not to be too hard on yourself, because you got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? And you guys are doing it right. It sounds like you're doing it right, in that you're trying to learn from each episode that you do and get better and better.
Absolutely.
So really, you should look at that first video or first podcast episode or whatever it is. You should look at that as like a badge of honor. You should look at that as something to be proud of, because it was that first step that you took to do it. You know what I mean? And even though it may not be your best work, it's a very important piece of work because it was your first. You know what I mean? So I always encourage people not to be proud of their first thing that they do on YouTube and not like hate on it, even though I said earlier that video, my first video, sucks and you shouldn't watch it. But at the same time, I'm still proud of it because it was the first video that I ever did.
Yeah. And then the retro gaming world, I've noticed that we've done a couple of retro gaming people. So we're Retro Gaming Pandemic, Cheap Finds Gold Mines, Gabo from Pixel Game Squad. And the one thing I do love about the retro gaming community is they're very helpful, and you really do become friends with all those people. Like I talk to Jared and Eric all the time. They're very helpful if you have questions or why can't I think of names? What's the name? Freaking Corbin and Amy. They say, hey, if you need help with anything, let us know. So good that the community is like that. Like whenever you need help with something, everyone's willing to help, which is awesome.
Dude, I love this community, man. It's one of the best communities online I've ever been a part of. Now, there's still some people in the community that suck, but I mean, there's just no avoiding that. That's always going to happen. But in my experience, I would say 98% of the people in this community have been awesome people. There's only one, I'm not going to say this individual's name or even hint at what their channel is, but there was one big YouTuber that I did not have a good experience meeting, which was a shame, but that was the only one. Every other bigger YouTuber I've met has been great. Billy and Jay from the Game Chasers, they were freaking awesome to me. And I'm still friends with those guys. And John Riggs, he was awesome. Pixel Game Squad. I mean, everybody that I've met outside of that one individual has been great. And this community is awesome. You know, even the guys that are at their level, like the Game Chasers and John Riggs, they're still willing to help you out if you need it and support you if you need it. And they're just awesome people. They're very approachable. You know what I mean? Because you can go up to them and they're just like you, man. They're just another person just trying to do YouTube. They're just, they've gotten a little more successful at it, but they're just normal people and they're awesome. So.
Yeah. Same like you. I've only had like I've reached out to a lot of we've done a couple retro gaming channels, and everybody I've reached out to has been super nice. And yeah, I'll be on the podcast, which has been super dope. I've only had one experience, and same I won't say it was with somebody that's pretty well known that I was a little like, oh, that kind of because I really like their channel.
Yeah, yeah, it's a shame, man. It's a shame that that happens, and I've always told myself, and I don't know what the future holds for my channel. I may never get past 10,000. I'm happy right now where I'm at, but I've always told myself if my channel ever blows up and becomes super successful, I'm never gonna let it change me as a person, because some people do. Some people get really big, and it changes them. Unfortunately, you know what I mean. They get a big ego. They might, you know what I mean. But at least it encouraged me. It encourages me that a lot of the big YouTubers I've met have been just awesome, awesome people.
Yeah, man. And I saw that you actually you go to cons, and is that how you met some of them, or was it just interacting online?
Yeah, so actually the first real convention that I ever went to was Southeast Game Exchange back in July. And I did meet I met a lot of I met several bigger YouTubers that I'd never met before, as well as a lot of YouTubers that are at or below the level that I'm at. I met, just YouTubers at all levels and became friends with all of them. They were all awesome people. Now, Billy and Jay from the Game Chasers, the circumstances for meeting them was a little bit different. I was on the set of the Game Chasers movie for 4 days and helped all day for 4 days. And got to meet them and a lot of other people in the Game Chasers crew, and I got to help with the movie for 4 days, and I'm actually an extra in the movie too, which is pretty cool. But so my circumstances for meeting them was a little bit different. It wasn't a convention, but Southeast Game Exchange was really my first convention, and I am going to many, many more because it was such a great experience.
Yeah. From everybody, Southeast Game Exchange. If you are a retro gamer, retro YouTuber, that's the place to go. That is the place to go.
It was a great time, man.
Yeah, man. We have to figure out how to get down there one year.
Yeah, dude, you'll love it. You'll love it, man.
Would you ever consider going to the cons in New York?
Yeah, I mean, I would. I've never been to New York City before, and I'm going to New York City for the first time sometime next year, hopefully. And I'll probably be there for 2 to 4 weeks. I'm going to be there for a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm going to be there for a while. Hoping closer to 4 weeks, but it just depends on, finances and stuff like that. But, so that'll be my first time in New York City. And I'm not a city person. I'm out of my element when I'm in a city. So I'm extremely nervous about going to New York City. Extremely nervous, because that will be the biggest city that I've ever been in. Prior to that, the biggest city I've ever been in would be Atlanta, Georgia, which is not, even though that's a huge city, it's not anywhere near as big as New York City. So I'm very nervous. But the good thing is I have a lot of friends in New York City, a lot of really good friends. So I've got plenty of people that can kind of break me in and take me around the city and get me used to it. But after that, if I get used to the city, I'm like, you know what? New York City's not that bad. I don't know why I was freaking out about it. Then yeah, I might come up there for some cons and stuff for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little culture shock at first. It can be a very taunting place at first, but it's cool. It also depends on where you go in the city. But man, if you're around and never busy, let us know. I don't know what you're doing, but we know a lot of cool. We were telling Jared and Eric, we know all the cool little video game shops in the city, hidden video game places. So let us know.
Yeah. If as of right now, unless it changes, it's going to be sometime spring next year. Okay. And like I said, I'll be there for anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. It just depends. So yeah, I'll definitely keep you in the loop.
Cool, man. Yeah. And I guess you kind of already asked your question earlier, David.
Sort of. I realized I did, but
yeah. You kind of did in that.
Sort of, but not really. So
paraphrase it.
My go-to question usually is, towards the end of our interview, what message would you have for our listeners trying to start out on YouTube, trying to collect gaming, trying to get into that world in general? What would you recommend? Where should they start? Who should they talk to, or where should they go?
Okay. So So all right, so two different things here, right? YouTube and game collecting.
Yeah.
Let's start with game collecting.
Cool.
If you're wanting to get into game collecting, don't make the mistake that a lot of people make and get so addicted to it that you end up spending more money than you should spend, because I did that. And then I accrued a bunch of credit card debt. It was not good. I'm still paying on that debt. I had to do some debt consolidation to work on that. And now I don't touch a credit card. I learned my lesson the hard way. Don't be me. Don't do that. If you want to get into collecting, do it the smart way. Take your time. Don't spend more than you have. Don't, you know what I mean? Have a tight budget. And if you're able to put in the work and you have the time, really the best way to build a collection is to get into reselling, especially if you can buy game lots and then keep what you want out of the game lot, sell the rest. A lot of times, if you get lucky and you find a good game lot where everything's well below retail value, you can essentially acquire a bunch of items for your collection for free, because you'll make your money back on what you spent on the lot by selling stuff. But it's a lot of work. You got to have the knowledge. You got to know what you're doing. You got to be willing to put in the work, but it does work. That's how I've built a lot of this collection, is by buying game lots, selling what I don't want, keeping some from the lot, making my money back, and sometimes even making a profit to put back into the collection. So that would be what I would tell people for game collecting. Don't spend more than you can. Be smart about it. Don't go into debt to build a collection. It's not worth it. Trust me. And consider getting into reselling to help build the collection. Now for YouTube, you know, if I had to add on some of the stuff that I said earlier, I won't repeat any of that stuff, but if I had to add more to that, I would say when you start a YouTube channel, and this is so very important, when you start a YouTube channel, you know, at all levels, you're going to have haters and trolls on your channel. You're going to have shitty human beings that just want to try to bring you down. My best advice, and it took me about 1.5 years to learn this, and now this is what I do. My best advice, if you get haters, if you get trolls on your YouTube channel, completely 100% ignore them. Do not engage with them. Do not interact with them at all. Completely ignore them. And just don't even think about them. Once you see that hate comment or that troll comment, don't let it bother you. Don't let it bother you. Let it slide right off of you and just ignore it. Move on with your day and forget about it. Because if you start interacting with these people, if you start getting involved in the hate comments and the troll comments and arguing with these people and paying them attention, number one, that's what they want. You're just feeding them. Number two, it's not going to be good for you mentally to do that. It's not going to be good for you mentally. And one of the most important things that we need to do as humans is to stay as mentally healthy as possible. So my advice to people is to completely ignore the haters, completely ignore the trolls. You're going to get them. Everybody does. Some people more than others, unfortunately, but you got to ignore them. It took me a while to learn this, and now I just completely ignore all of them because it's just not worth it, and I don't have time for it.
Yeah.
Well said, Matt.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
And then we can second the credit card debt thing. Me and David have both went down that road.
Yep. So that advice for collecting games can go for anyone.
Yeah.
Anything. Mm-hmm. It definitely applies tenfold.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, it's not worth it. Going into credit card debt is not worth it. It sucks. And unfortunately, a lot of people in America do it. And that's part of the scam. That's what the credit card companies want. They want you to go into debt.
I blame advertisement and packaging.
And I blame collector's editions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That goes into packaging.
Yeah. I've got a few of those up there. I'm sure you can.
You don't want to see my living room.
And to your thing, yep. And people are always gonna hate, and like you said, ignore them. But also, you have to think of it this way: if you have a hater, you're doing something right.
That's true. Yeah.
It's not right if you have a hater.
Yeah. That is true.
So never look at a hater as a bad thing.
Yeah.
And plus, any engagement on your YouTube channel helps. Unless you have more likes or more dislikes than likes, which most of the time that's not going to happen. Most of the time you're going to have a lot more likes than you do dislikes, but any engagement on your channel helps. Even the troll and hate comments, the dislikes that they leave, all that stuff still helps your analytics and helps your video. So really all they're doing is helping your videos.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's another good point.
Yeah.
That is another good point. Well, Matt, we thank you for coming on our show. We thank you for accepting our little invite to our show.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, man, this was really, really fun. We will put all the links to your YouTube and your Instagram down below. Also, if you guys, hey, subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to Hell. If you guys want to, that would be nice. You know,
can I plug one more thing real fast? If you guys
for it, man. This is your time. Whatever you
Go
want.
for it.
So I actually have a second YouTube channel. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this or not, but I have a second YouTube channel that I run called Mama Retro. Okay. Now, Mama Retro is something that started on my channel.
I've seen some of it on your channel.
Yeah. So it started on my channel and now I split it off into its own YouTube channel. And basically, I got my mom over here. She's never played games before in her life. I got her over here, set her down, had her play some video games. And my mom is extremely eccentric. She's a little crazy, and I say that with love, not to be mean. She knows she is. She'll say the same thing.
Sounds like
and the way that she reacts to video games is some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. Some of the stuff she says and does in the video is hilarious. She physically abuses me in every video. The videos are so funny. And what we're doing is right now we're taking all the old Mama Retro videos that were on my channel, we're re-editing them to trim out all the boring parts so that it's punchier. We're re-releasing those videos on the Mama Retro channel. And then once we get through the backlog, then we're going to get the brand new Mama Retro videos. But I'm trying to grow that channel, trying to get it to that first 100 subscribers. So yeah, if you guys don't mind throwing the Mama Retro YouTube channel in the description.
of course, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, down below. We're definitely gonna go watch those videos.
I was about to say, as soon as
You guys will laugh. I promise you, you guys will laugh your ass off. It's so funny.
Listen, I love me some good comedy.
Oh yeah.
Well, you heard it. We will have the RETROWOLF88 channel and the Mama Wolf channel,
And also Mama.
down below.
Thanks, man.
And yeah, thanks again, man. And to all the people watching, thank you, and may the force be with you. Peace out, everybody.
Yep. Follow the white rabbit.